Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Godzilla versus Kong. This movie just came out within the past couple weeks now, and from the title of it, you can take a guess as to what it is. It's about Godzilla versus King Kong. And this is one of those movies that has been a dream for many people, seeing these two titans come together and clash. It's crazy that it took us this long, but it's one of those things where you have to think about it like, you know, we got to make sure that this is right. Otherwise, this ain't going to be right. You don't want to piss these people off that are extremely involved, and people who love types of movies want to make sure that you don't piss them off, because if you fuck up and people are going to get angry and stuff like that. And so, for me personally, coming from a person who I'm a fan of King Kong and whatnot. The reason I say King Kong is because uh, I'm not really, I don't have too much info when it comes to Godzilla. So, I'm more of a King Kong fan. But if you've seen this movie, as you know, things don't go too well for Kong. We'll just say that. But yeah, it's Godzilla versus King Kong. That's essentially what the movie is. The movie takes some things and they try to sort of make a plot line throughout this movie. And there's some touching parts and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's just one of those movies where if you want to see Godzilla versus King Kong, you're going to enjoy it. Because there's, I believe, let me see here, 3 or 4 big fight scenes with Godzilla and Kong together. And if that's what you're here for, you're going to enjoy this movie a lot. But if you're here for character development and all that stuff, you're not going to be you're not going to be too happy about it, because it's one of those things where it's like, well, you tried, but it didn't really happen. So, the things I like about this movie, the CGI is insane. It's really, really, really well done. You can tell that a lot of the budget of this movie went towards the computer generated imaging of this movie. It shows, and they did a flawless job. There's a huge scene involving water specifically, and when it comes to CGI, water is extremely hard to replicate, and they did an incredible job when it came to the CGI. Uh, Other things about the movie that I really enjoyed were there's a plot line in the movie, and it's like the main sort of plot line, the reason why Godzilla and Kong clash together. I really enjoyed the plot line that they did with that, how, certain things happen, and this is, where things are maybe in the future going to be when it comes to different movies. So I hope they do some more things when it comes to that specific plotline. And you know what I'm talking about. It involves a lot with King Kong more than Godzilla. The other things that I like about this movie, Millie Bobby Brown is pretty good in this movie. I like what's his name? Give me one second here. Brian Tyree Henry. He does a great job when it comes to comedic relief and stuff like that. I really enjoy his character. The only downside to his character is that it's a very typical character that you would see in a movie like this and with what is going on in this movie. And so I'll dock it just a little bit of points because of that, but for the most part, uh, his character's great and I like him a lot. The dislikes with this movie, like I said, it's one of those movies where you expect that there's not going to be much of a plot line and character development, but they you can tell that they tried, but you could also tell that they're like, it's Godzilla versus Kong, and that's what you're here for. And so that's what they do, which is sort of a double-edged sword because a lot of people are going to be watching this movie just to see Godzilla versus Kong, and at the same time, if you want to have a really, really, really great movie, you got to have some sort of character development, and you can tell that they tried, but eventually they're like, whatever, just let them fight and let the people enjoy what they want to see and what they came to see. So you can't you can't bash them for that sort of thing. But the only other dislike that I really had was, uh, there's certain scenes where you sort of think about it and you're like, is this really necessary? And I would say like a 50-50 that there's a plot line in this movie that uh, you sort of realize at the beginning, like, why are we doing this? Why is this here? But then towards the end of that plot line, you realize, like, oh, okay, I guess, that's why this plot line is here. But it's one of those things where towards the beginning of that plot line, when they cut to those scenes, you're kind of like, rolling your eyes, like, why are we doing this? But like I said, once it gets to the end, then it starts to make sense as to why that plot line is there in the first place, which it's fine. It's not really a big uh, gripe that I have. But yeah, I would highly suggest this movie, mainly because it's enjoyable. It's the first movie that I've seen in a long time where I had my speakers up extremely loud and it was very, I guess you could say, exhilarating to watch. And movies like that I love because I can really take advantage of the surround sound and everything like that, and it just makes for a really great experience. So I would recommend this movie to anyone that really likes a lot of action and a lot of good sound design throughout movies, because you're going to get that with this movie. My rating, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I'm not going to go any higher than that, mainly because there's a couple things that really just sort of take this movie, away from what it could have been. But you have to think about it. The title says it alone. It's Godzilla versus King Kong, and so that's what you're here to watch, and that's what a lot of people are going to be watching this movie for, is just watching them two titans clash and fight each other. Uh, but yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this review on Godzilla versus Kong. My socials are in the link in the description. If you want to get in contact with me, the best place to do that is going to be on Twitter. If you would like to support me in any way, shape, or form, I have my Patreon down below. You can support me there. But the easiest way to support me is to just give this video a like. That's all you got to do. Liking the video helps push it to different people, and it helps show my perspective on this movie and further reviews. If there's any reviews you'd like me to see, my Twitter, like I said, is linked down below. I post at least one poll a week asking, which of these 2 to 3 movies should I review, and that's the reason why I'm doing Godzilla vs. Kong, because I asked people what they wanted to see and they voted for this. So this is what I'm giving them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Godzilla vs. Kong, and I will see you in